apples fall to the sky. As the Holy Scripture says, according to your faith be it unto you. This is profoundly true. You only receive what you're willing to receive. Outer intention follows your beliefs and worldview perfectly. What you have now reflects how you see yourself and your place in the world. With the principles of transurfing, you can consciously shape your fate to match your personal choices and beliefs. You already know how to choose. Now comes the question of belief. The mind cannot fully believe until it sees proof, but it can pretend or cling to blind false beliefs. False belief arises when excess importance inflates conviction, creating a rigid, fanatic mindset that deafens the mind to everything else. This kind of belief traps the heart in a box, leaving the mind isolated and blind. False belief never aligns with the power of outer intention. It is a trap set by pendulums in the labyrinth of insecurity. While it may feel like you found your way out, deep down, doubt lingers. The protective wall of false faith only masks that doubt, keeping you stuck in the illusion of certainty. True belief is not belief at all. It is knowledge. A belief becomes false when you have to force yourself to accept it, whether through enthusiasm or pressure. Knowledge, on the other hand, comes naturally from facts. When the mind is confronted with a fact, it simply knows. False belief, however, relies on control. The mind works hard to block out any doubt, creating an illusion of certainty. In this desperation to cling to hope, the mind shuts out reason and refuses to listen. When you try to convince yourself to believe something, you risk adopting false beliefs. Instead, tune into your inner feelings and notice any discomfort. If something feels off, stop forcing yourself to accept it. Let go of the need to persuade yourself. When your heart and mind are in harmony, belief will come naturally. You won't need to convince yourself of anything. Neither is there any point in trying to talk to yourself around with positive affirmations. Telling yourself, "I will succeed," can actually strengthen those doubts. The heart doesn't respond to logic or reasoning from the mind. It speaks clearly with either a yes or a no, never, maybe, or probably. Even the smallest doubt will make the heart say no. Can't force it to agree. When the heart has doubts, you can't convince it otherwise. The key is understanding the heart doesn't deal in uncertainty. Doubt arises when you only partially believe in something. For the heart, partial belief translates to a clear no. The heart doesn't waver or second guess, it simply knows, answering with either a definite yes or no. You have to take the radical step of removing the word believe from your worldview template and replacing it with no. If the mind knows that such and such a thing is going to happen, the heart will agree without question. Do you believe that you are listening to us speak? No, because belief does not come into it. You just know that you are watching and listening to us. Where there is belief, there's always room for doubt. Now that you have removed the notion of belief from your mind, allow yourself to have the knowing that your desire will be fulfilled. The law has it that the goal will be reached if there is will to have and if there is the will to act by moving through the right door. It is your choice. You are in charge. If the decision is truly yours, any thoughts along the lines of, "What if it does not happen?" will become irrelevant. Every event has two possible outcomes. It either works out or it doesn't. Trying to convince yourself it will work is futile. True confidence comes from the heart's knowing, not from self-persuasion. Knowledge is the solid foundation for real confidence. There is just one small step to go, which is how to acquire the knowing. To properly acquire knowing, you have to get used to it and accept it. With time, people get used to all sorts of incredible things. Telephones, televisions, airplanes. Have we not seen many examples of things that were previously thought impossible become very real and commonplace? Apply the slide technique. Harbor knowledge in your mind and look after it until outer intention makes it fact. Remember, the task is not to convince yourself, but to remind yourself of the knowledge that you will achieve your goal. When thinking about your goal, doubts and questions about how it will happen will likely arise. Instead of fighting these doubts, calmly remind yourself, Success depends on my choice, and I've already made it. There's no need to hesitate. Over time, the doubts will fade. Where there is clear knowledge, belief becomes irrelevant and doubt has no place. Avoid battling doubts, as resistance only strengthens them. Instead, accept that doubts don't guarantee failure. They may just make the journey a little bit bumpy. Stay focused on your choice and move forward. We want to emphasize that the most important thing is to remember that you alone decide whether you achieve your goal or not. Remind yourself of this fact every time that doubt sets in. We also want to draw your attention once again to the habit of forgetting and living a semi-conscious existence. New knowledge is easily forgotten and old habits run deep. Never forget that you are in charge of your own fate. Jesus likely wasn't surprised when he walked on water. It was as natural to him as walking on land is to us. Others could do the same if they let go of doubt, fear, and emotion tied to the act. This might sound impossible, but history is full of what once seemed incredible. People once said iron ships will never float, let alone fly. Yet once ships sailed and planes soared, no one questioned their possibility. When belief is replaced by knowing, the extraordinary becomes ordinary. Carrying doubts lowers your chances of success. In the alt space, there are two paths. One leads to achieving your goal, and the other to failure. Doubts tune your energy to the frequency of failure, making success unlikely. Any failure you experience will arise from your circumstances created by your own thoughts. The question needs to be put differently. Will it happen or not should be replaced by, what do I choose, success or failure? We understand that it can be difficult to get used to posing the question in this manner. Your whole life you believed that apples fall to the ground, not the sky. But if you constantly catch yourself doubting and remind yourself that success is simply a matter of choice, you begin to accept it as normal. Imagine that starting today, apples fall to the sky instead. At first it seems strange, but soon it feels natural. After all, balloons rise to the sky, and no one finds that surprising. Why should this be any different? Our goal is not to convince you. Our goal is to break through the stereotypes and false thought patterns of the conventional worldview in order to assist you in breaking out of the box of conditioning and coming to the dream of waking. When you wake up, you realize you can direct your own dream and without having to rely on belief. Take action and you will see what happens as a result. Do not believe, verify and prove, and when you see that transurfing really works, you will then simply know. You've likely heard that you can achieve anything with unwavering faith in your strength and victory. While the phrase, according to your faith be it unto you, sounds quite simple, the question remains, how do you find that faith and eliminate doubt? Truth is, you can't completely avoid doubt, and trying to force faith is pointless. If doubt exists in your heart, no amount of persuasion can erase it. The mind might pretend that doubt is gone, but deep down, it will still linger in the heart. Let go of trying to force absolute faith. It's unnecessary. Instead, take a more practical approach to handling doubt. Stop focusing on how things will happen. Simply run your target slide in your mind and take steps towards your goal. This isn't just abstract dreaming, it's real work to align the energy you project. After all, your worst fears often come true because you unconsciously radiate their energy. So make it your mission to intentionally shift your energy to align with your best expectations. If you have a goal but doubt its outcome, your doubts can slow you down. You don't need to completely eliminate them. The mind seeks faith to confirm the goal is possible, but you can bypass this step. Stop worrying about faith or the details of how it will happen. Instead, immerse yourself in the slide of already living out your goal. Enjoy the process and you'll refine your energy without relying on forced belief. When you let outer intention take over, things will start to fall into place, just as if apples were falling to the sky. When the mind encounters an undeniable fact like apples falling to the sky, it releases control and allows the fact to manifest. The key is not whether you can see every step clearly, but whether the goal feels realistic to the mind. In a world where everyone rides bicycles, we naturally learn to ride. If we were born into a world where people could fly, we would learn to fly too. As explained, when you align the energy you radiate with your target lifeline, you activate outer intention. By visualizing your target slide and imagining the process, you allow the wind of outer intention to guide your reality through the alt space. Gradually, opportunities you never expected will appear, and outer intention will steer your actions to bring you closer to your goal. We would like to duly note that sometimes it might seem as if circumstances are unfolding in a bizarre way, and yet, how could you know which road specifically leads to your goal? Always remember, the mind is incapable of anticipating all the moves that lie ahead, and so cannot possibly know how to realize the goal. After all, it could not be achieved by ordinary means, could it? Leave the matter of the means and the ways to outer intention. Trust the alternatives flow. You will act in a way that brings you to your goal irrespective of your own will. This is how outer intention works. If right now you're walking to a job you hate through the mud and rain, but with a sense of celebration of life in your heart, all the difficulties you are experiencing will soon disappear. Quite simply, the quality of your energy will no longer correspond to the frequency of the scene. We are not here to convince you, as belief alone cannot break the labyrinth of doubt. Our aim is to inspire hope. Hope is what allows the walls of the labyrinth to crumble when outer intention shows you that seemingly impossible things are possible, like apples falling to the sky. Without hope, transurfing is impossible, but the fact that you've started shows you already have it. Hope gives the mind a sense of stability and fills the heart with life. When people face misfortune, disappointment, or challenges, they often lose their energy to pendulums, leaving them anxious, exhausted, or depressed. Many respond by either fighting the situation or giving up entirely, both of which leads to stress and despair. In these states, calm is lost, confidence crumbles, and people may turn to unhealthy crutches like cigarettes, alcohol, or drugs, only to become trapped by new pendulums. We need hope to begin taking action. Begin taking action and you will see that apples do fall to the sky. When hope has done its work, you will become conscious of the freedom of choice, and then you will say to yourself, I do not want, I do not hope, I intend.